Imagine you would be told you could never conceive. That's something I didn't want to believe. For years, I thought I would have a child. And yet that's not what I was told. So to say that I was completely shocked when my husband and I found out that I was going to have a child, definitely took me on an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. We were told right from the start that this was going to be a high-risk pregnancy due to 3 contributing variables that are known for infertility. I found myself in triage at 22 and 5. My pregnancy wasn't considered viable because they will not track and monitor a baby prior to 23 weeks. So I was sent home on that Thursday after I should have been on an early morning flight to New York City that day. God had other plans. I went home just to start contractions 2 minutes apart. The next day on Friday, I told my husband, we've got to go back. Something is not right. So I found myself admitted on that Friday, still would not track the baby. And that Saturday morning, I was exactly 23 weeks. My high-risk doctor, who happened to be on call that weekend, came in and said, Amy, welcome to your new normal. Whether you give birth a week from now or 5 months from now, you're here. We've started tracking the baby and he's in distress, and so we're just going to monitor things closely and see how they progress over the next few hours. Within a few hours of him leaving my room, my water broke. Things escalated quite quickly. And in those moments, everything was just so fast-paced in my head, in my heart, in my soul. And I found myself questioning once again, could this be? I had always said to anyone who had asked, when are you going to have a child? If it's in God's plans, I'll be at peace. So I found myself with tears streaming down my face in my hospital room that day. Clouds in the sky, beautiful day out. And yet, all I could think about was, why am I here at 23 weeks with the miracle that I had prayed for, yet the noise around me is everything but peace? The noise that I heard was 5% chance of survival. We need you to sign papers. Would you be willing? OR, NICU, prematurity. Terms that you've heard before in your life, but yet you don't really ever put thought to them. Like prematurity, I know what that is, but I've never lived it. I've never gone through it. And I know God didn't bring me this far to just come this far. So, with an emergency C-section faced in front of me, with a 5% chance of survival of a child who is now 17 weeks early, my contractions were beyond painful. And yet, everyone that was rushing around me when I was just trying to be still and grasp my purpose in all of this. And when the doctor came in, all I remember him saying is OR3, NICU staff 14. I looked at him and I said, I don't think we need an emergency C-section. I'm ready to give birth. He said, well, that's not going to change our plans if you've dilated any. And I said, could you please check? And with shock, he literally looked at everyone else around the room and stared right back at me. And he said, if you want to give birth naturally, we can. You're dilated to 7. I would have thought, thinking back in that moment, that I would have just been, just crying out, like just lost. And yet I had a peace, and yet I still had no idea what was to come. With 4 pushes, Brody was born. 1 pound, 2 ounces. And I never heard a cry. And I see them giving breaths to Brody. And in that moment, I knew he was getting exactly what God intended for him to have. And I reminded myself, we didn't come this far to just come this far. So of course, the wave of emotions come over me. And now that grief starts to set in. I wasn't capable enough. I wasn't worthy enough. I could not do for Brody what I wanted to do, what he needed. So I had to remind myself that through every storm God has brought me through up until this point has only simply prepared me for this moment. And those moments were simply preparing me for living and watching my child grow in a NICU for 148 days. To be told your child has bilateral grade 4 brain bleeds, but yet he is 570 grams, so we can't operate on him. We have to wait. You see, I always told everyone in the NICU, it's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. When they wheeled him out of that OR room, taking him up to the NICU without me, that's my first cry. I cried out to Brody and I said, son, God didn't bring us this far to just come this far. You are strong, and I will never leave your side. I honestly cannot tell you how I survived. At one point, I could take my ring and I could fit this around Brody's entire hand. I could put it on his wrist. That is how tiny, yet how powerful my 1 pound miracle was. You never want your child to be categorized. You know, I never put expectations on Brody. Brody clearly showed me, as well as everyone that came into contact with him, that he was destined for a purpose. And I think as moms, you know, and even the tribes that come along with us, you know, our families, our spouse, or significant other, that we never want to place our children within, barriers. Yet it was up to me to continue searching for those answers. And I never backed down. And as unfortunate as some journeys are, every single one of our journeys, just like Brody's, is unique. One of those journeys led me to chiropractic care. I've received chiropractic care before, yet I've learned that there's a unique approach to a very specific chiropractic care. I was immediately just like this fire within me was, I couldn't get Brody in the hands of those individuals fast enough. I knew it was not by chance that I came across that other individual's journey. To not only witness now and have gone through some of that chiropractic care as we're just getting started, I have now been able to witness the storms in which have been happening in Brody's body that he can't share with me. But yet I've been able to see internally from scans and now witness with my own eyes the changes that have been made in such a short period of time. If that isn't drive enough to create a desire within every single one of us, that we need to continue to be that voice for those who are living in silence. Chiropractic care has been life-changing. I'm Amy Santiago, and we will make it through the storm.